Welcome to another video. In this video, we will create the UI of the application. Let's get started. I will quickly create the basic skeleton of the application. We'll first wrap the whole content inside a to-do wrapper class. Creating a div to hold all our task list. We are naming it to-do task list. Our tasks will be divided into two different categories. One will be active task and the other will be completed task. So both the sections will be identical. Since both the code for both this both active task and completed task will be identical, so we can wrap the code inside a common component which can be named as task component. And we can go and copy and paste this, and I'll just change the name of the heading as completed task. To use this task component, we need to create a folder called components that will hold all our components. So we are creating a view file called task cards. Don't worry, we will change the name of the component in our index.view file. Now we need to create the UI for the task card.view file, and we'll go on and create our template section. Then we will just declare the script. We'll use the TypeScript language. Then we'll go on and declare the class which is task card, and inside this class we will be using a task card head which will have which will be the header section of our uh, task card component. So we'll create a title section and we'll add a dummy title for now. Let's also go and add the actions that we will be needing, which are edit, delete, and complete. Complete basically is to mark the task as done. Now let's change the component name, which is task card. So instead of this task variable, we can go ahead and add some add a dummy array. So it will help us to just dash the dummy data in the for loop. And we do need to keep the key. Yeah, we can see that we have now two lists. One is active and the other is completed task. So now we need to go and give styling for our components. We'll change the background color of the whole body. For that we can go and add a background variable. I'll just add a color to it, and we'll use the variable here. We can see the background is no longer white and we have a color. Now let's go ahead and add the styling for task card. When adding the styling for the task card, we need to take care of the fact that each and every task needs to be distinguished from each other. So our styling should be as such that it's easier for the user to see each and every task as a separate entity. We'll go on and add a background color. We'll add box shadow and some padding to it. I'm not sure if I should be using rem or pixel. For now I will put rem, and later on let's see if we need to change it to pixel. Instead of putting a hard-coded value here, I can simply go ahead and declare a border radius value, which can be used in other classes as well if we need. Let's go ahead and add some more data to fill up our card, and it will give us a more clear picture of how the task card will look like. We'll add a footer section. We'll name it as task card footer, and this will hold the description of the task and few other metadata. We'll also go on and add an image uh, avatar which we can use as a user's image who have created this task. For now we are just using a placeholder for this image. Let's go ahead and set the width of the avatar image, and it will set the dimensions right. Perfect. Now I feel like changing the RAM into pixel. So instead of using RAM, I can simply use pixel and use the same unit everywhere. Now I'll go ahead and create some generic classes which will be very valuable for us, and most of these classes will revolve around margins and paddings. So I'll simply go ahead and create few classes, and we can use to give we can use them to give paddings and margins, and like use them as standalone classes. To assign them values for each class, we can use uh, 4 with the multiplication of 4 with the number of the class. For example, m2 will be 4 into 2, which is 8. m2 mt4 will be 4 into 4, which is 16. So mt5 likewise, mt5 will be 4 into 5, which is 20. So this way we can maintain the ratio. So for padding also we will use the same formula as we have used in the margin classes. Now we'll go ahead and add the margin classes here to add some margin to the task card component. Uh, Seems like I have done a mistake. Yeah, I will add the hyphen. Yeah, this is the correct class name. Now I will go ahead and add a class to wrap all these actions and uh, to sort their directions. We can use flex property to move them towards the right hand side. We can see that all the actions edit, delete and complete have moved towards the right hand side. Now I'll just give some styling to the individual span elements and give some padding between them. We can see there's a significant amount of margin between the p elements, p tag. So we remove the margins and paddings from the p tag. These margins are there by default. We can see the margins are gone now. Now I need to move the content to the middle of the screen. So I'll simply go ahead and select the wrapper class, which is uh, to do task list, and we'll add a width of 60% and we'll move them to the middle of the screen by using margin property. Now let's give some styling to the footer section of the task component. So we will grab the class which has the footer content, which is task card footer, and will give them a border, top border, to separate out from the content of the head section. I need to change the value of this padding here, and also from the task card. Seems like 8 pixel is not enough uh, for a good UX, so I'll just change it to 14 pixel. I'll also add a margin here, and seems like margin 2 is too much. Now it seems okay. Yeah. We'll go ahead and add a class here so that um, we can add a flex property to this metadata. So we'll simply create a wrapping class task card meta and use flex here so that we can arrange them. Once we added the flex properties, we can see that they have been arranged in in the order. We'll go ahead and comment out this head section, which will sort out our UI for now. Also, we need to change the shape of our avatars. The image, the shape that we need is the circular shape, and we don't want to keep it as the square shape. So we are going to change it by using the border radius property. Now, to enhance the UX of this application, we need to make sure that the users sees the right content or the right section of this UI when they first lands on this page. which means that we need to make sure that only one area of the task card screams for attention. For this, we can simply keep a very dull color for the rest of the text. We can create a class called text light, and we can uh, assign assign the color property with a very light color, and this class can be used in all the tags that doesn't need attention when the user first lands on this page. I will go ahead and add this class in all the tags except the title tags, which needs to be the first thing that user sees when they enter this page. As you can see that the title text is now the only text that is highlighted and screaming for attention, and this doesn't confuse the user where to look into. Along with that, I will also try to increase the size of the title, uh, just to make sure that it looks a bit different than the rest of the text. I will go ahead and add a padding class here and have to declare this one in the style.css2. So this will just keep a padding between the header section and the border that is there. So it will enhance the UI a bit. I can reduce the padding a bit. Um, Instead of 20 pixel, I can simply put it to 8 pixel. I will change it here, and yeah, this looks okay. Now we will be adding the border colors to uniquely identify the card whether it is active or completed. So we will be having two different colors, one for active, one for completed. The border colors will be added by logic, but which we will come to that part later on. But for now we will be going ahead and declaring both these classes. So we will be toggling this between these classes when we will be having the data fetched from the API. But for the border color we need to add the border first, which will be in the task card. So we will be adding a border and set the color as transparent. So we will set the color from these classes, and we will be getting the color from already declared variables up top here. We can see that we have the borders, but we don't need borders on all four sides. So instead, we can go ahead and declare the borders only for the left hand side. We can increase the gap between each cards also by using different class, and we can see that the colors are reflected here. So we can also go ahead and change this class to border complete, and we can see the change in border color again using the different class, and we can toggle between these classes when we write the logic for this one later on. Now here we can also improve the UX a bit more, and what I'm thinking is, if I can increase the size of the font in the title, size of the text in the title, and or if we can reduce the size of a few of the elements, so that the title will be more apparent. Also we can increase the gap between these action items, and let's try it out. I will declare a class to reduce the font size a bit. So this class will just reduce the font size in with respect to the default font size that we have, and we will go ahead and add it in a few of the tags. So I want to increase the gap between the action items, um, to make it more distinguishable, and I would also like to change the default font size of the body so that the smaller font size looks more distinguishable. Please do comment if you think that this UX can be further improved, or if there is a mistake, if there is any mistake in this UX. But for now, let's continue on this one. One more piece that is remaining is, I need to make some styling changes to the action items. We can put some hover text color changes, and we can also make the cursor pointer when we hover on top of that. So here I think we can use, since the default color is lighter for the actions, so on hover we can put a darker color to make the hover more effective. So we can see the changes here. So that's all for this tutorial. See you in the next one.